Welcome to Movie Reedviews with Cody Reed. Hey there everyone, it's Cody Reed here again. So today let's talk a little bit about Jason Bourne. It just comes out this weekend. I saw it last night, actually on my birthday. But so it's the new installment of the Bourne franchise. It comes back with Matt Damon as Jason Bourne. The last movie, The Bourne Legacy, had Jeremy Renner. It was kind of like a side movie, like a spin-off movie, talking about other agents from the same Treadstone program that Jason Bourne was in. But now we're getting back to Jason Bourne's story. He basically knows somewhat of his past. He kind of knows who he is and who he was. But then this movie kind of focuses on drawing him out again, out of hiding, because he's basically just kind of like I don't want to say vigilante, but he basically just kind of lives out on his own in other countries, and he's kind of like doing some fighting on the side just to earn money, and just kind of like beats him up self-emotionally. He doesn't really know too much of who he is, even though he does have an idea about his background, but he's kind of lost in his life. But basically some hidden truths about his past make him come out of hiding so that he can discover those truths a little bit more and find out really if they're true or not and what's going on, because there's certain things in his past, I guess, that he hasn't figured out. And it's mostly because of Julia Stiles' Nikki Parsons' character, who was in the other movies, who's kind of helped him out here and there, but she basically shows up to kind of help him learn more about those hidden truths. The movie also has to deal a lot with security and privacy in today's modern age, and that actually kind of works well sometimes because you can see all the new technology that's happened, especially with like the CIA trying to locate Bourne, and they're using all this technology, and alright, bring up this, okay, bring out these profiles, okay, now use these filters to find it, alright, we need to shut down this thing, go over to the power lines and shut them off so that it cancels all the computers that are running. And you're just like, what, can the government really do this? It kind of made me like a conspiracy theorist, like, oh my gosh, the government can do all this, and they can see us from anywhere, and they can just use cameras and everything. So like I mentioned, part of the time it actually does work in favor of the movie, but then other times it kind of dragged down the story, and it's like a boring subplot because the CIA, this guy's working with this guy in the company who's installing like this software that people can use to integrate all their software, but don't worry, it's not privacy issues, you'll still have your privacy. And any time that was happening, I was just kind of like, okay, blah, blah, blah. That's boring. Let's get back to Matt Damon, Jason Bourne's story, trying to find out who he is, his security, and that kind of does tie in a little bit to the main story with Jason Bourne, so that's why I say that sometimes it does work, but then other times when it's not focusing on Jason Bourne, and it's just talking about security and privacy, it was just kind of boring to me. But Matt Damon is good again, as Bourne, even though he doesn't say much. That's kind of what I figured, like, oh wow, you'll go for quite a bit of time before he starts saying something again, but a lot of times he's running around, or he's walking through train stations, of course, that's like a main staple of the movie, and he's looking worried and looking both ways. But yeah, he does a good job. And that's just kind of what happens in the Bourne movies. Julia Stiles' Nikki Parsons' character, though, she's not in the movie a lot, but when she was, I thought she kind of delivered her lines wooden-like. And by that I mean just like, oh, there are things that you don't know from your past, Bourne. And it's just like, okay, give some emphasis to it as, Bourne, there are things from your past that are still hidden. You don't know about them. Like, come on. I'm not an actor, though, so blah, blah, blah. And then I really like the new characters, actually, played by Tommy Lee Jones and Elisa Vikander. They're basically just like new CIA operatives that are in this time, a lot of the head honcho CIA people. I really like their characters. I don't want to give too much into them, but I really like them. Actually, there were a couple twists in the movie that were pretty good. I was not expecting. I don't want to give those away either, but just, if you're wondering, like, how do these compare to the old Bourne movies? I don't think it's my favorite personally is Ultimatum. It was just super fast paced. The movie flew by because it had great action, but also great suspense, and a great story with him trying to wrap up everything. I thought Identity was pretty good, probably my next favorite, and then Supremacy was good still, but I felt like a lot didn't happen in that movie compared to the other ones, like the beginning and the end of Bourne's story. So I'll probably place this somewhere. I'll leave that to the very end. Wait one more minute. So anyway, there are some good twists, so expect that from a good Jason Bourne movie. There are some twists. The action is definitely on point. All right, let's talk about the action for a brief second. The main three movies had great action, and this one does, especially in the last 30 minutes or so. You do have some action peppered throughout the movie, but in the last 30 minutes or so, it really ramps up. And speaking of that and like the pace, I think the movie really started off good. It was setting up some stuff. So I was interested, even though there wasn't like tons of action. There was an action scene or two, but just the drama and the setting up of everything, I was getting interested. But then it kind of got muddled during the second act with some of the security stuff, and I was just like, okay, let's get back to the story again. But then, like I mentioned, I think it really ramped up again towards the end. It picked up, and a lot of the action, especially the last half hour, just had you on your edge of the edge of your seat. So if I would to rank these, I'd probably still have Ultimatum as my favorite. And then maybe, I mean, I did watch the Bourne trilogy recently. I didn't watch Bourne Legacy because that one doesn't exist, just like the fourth Indiana Jones. So for this movie, I'll probably place it around the same area as Identity. So it basically goes Ultimatum for me, and then somewhere either Identity or Jason Bourne, and then probably Bourne Supremacy just a little bit lower than that. But they're all really good movies. So as for this actual rating, I think I'll give Jason Bourne 4 out of 5 stars. Julia Stiles, Nikki Parsons' character was just okay, but she wasn't in the movie a ton, so that was fine. But then just that boring subplot with the privacy and security that didn't really tie into Jason Bourne's actual story, that just kind of muddled it. But everything else was pretty good, especially the action, Matt Damon's performance, the new characters, some of those twists. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. I was pretty entertained throughout the whole movie. I think it's a worthy installment to the Bourne franchise. I don't know if they're going to be making more of these or not. I think as long as you have a good story to tell, I'm down for it. But drop your comments down below in the YouTube section, please. Make sure to subscribe. That'd really help here. And yeah, just let me know what you thought about the movie or what you think about the Bourne movies in general. What's your favorite Bourne movie, including this one or not? Depends if you've seen the movie, but drop those comments down below. Make sure to look out for some other reviews I'll do, probably audio. But yeah, I'll see you next time.